after 3 years of waiting in purgatory for a new game that will successfully transcend WWE 2K19. We're not counting WWE 20. Does WWE 2K22 scratch that itch? Let's talk about it. What's up, ladies and gents, and welcome to Mo Plays. I'm Mike of All Trades, and this is my review for WWE 2K22. If you like to see, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and all that jazz. And let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? So for those who don't know, WWE 2K20 came out back in 2018, in October. And it was supposed to be the successor to WWE 2K19. It came out a buggy mess, full of glitches, etc., etc. And while they fixed that game over time, there are lots of things that were omitted and the game didn't run properly. Fast forward a couple years later, and we now have WWE 2K22, one of the most anticipated wrestling games ever created. And it's a make or break situation for the game in a lot of standpoints, a lot of people's eyes and aspects, but does it measure up to the standard that it needs to hold dear? That's what we're going to talk about today. First things first, let's talk about the game itself. The game is gorgeous. The in-game physics and the bumps that people take, it's all natural. Everything flows. You know, and that sounds really weird to say, but like the in-game gameplay, it flows like water. The entrances are second to none. You know, the best entrance in the game, Roman Reigns, the head of the table, coming out with Paul Heyman.
Has arrived, flanked by his special counsel, Paul Heyman. Reigns has dominated the entire WWE. And not just dominated physically, but now mentally as well.
And you watch it and you get goosebumps. Like, just thinking about it right now, I have goosebumps on my arm. That's how good it is. You know, the entrances are amazing. Like, just the presentation, it gives a big WWE vibe and a feel to it. You know, it's like you're watching an episode of Friday Night SmackDown or Monday Night Raw. I would say NXT, but we don't watch NXT 2.0 around here. The gameplay is great. You know, I was one of the main people screaming that don't revamp the gameplay engine, don't revamp the gameplay system, meaning the controls and whatnot. And I gotta say, I'm pleasantly surprised. The game kind of has a fighting game feel to it, you know, with button combinations and combos that will help you execute certain moves or sequences. You know, there's a return to the 2-button finisher system, kind of Ali Day of Reckoning. You know what I mean? Like, so that's a great feel. The in-game, the dodges, the bobs, the weaves, you know, the combo breakers, those kind of things make this game great. And it's insane because when you hear a game and you hear there's a light attack and a heavy attack and a grapple button, you know, and a button for counters, just as your face button, you think that's kind of weird, but it works seamlessly. There's also showcase mode in the game. The cover star, Rey Mysterio Jr., you know what I'm saying? The cover star has a great showcase. I feel like the showcase was a little short. Off the top of my head, if I remember correctly, there's only 10 or 11 matches with an extra match unlocked at the end if you do all the conditions and objectives, which, by the way, showcase mode is a hell of a lot more easier than it was in WWE 13 or 2K14. You know, they're not annoying objectives to complete. You're doing the things while at the flow of the match. The presentation is second to none during showcase mode. Between the cutscenes and the gameplay, it all flows seamlessly from within the match to gameplay to within the match gameplay. It's amazing. I wish there were a couple matches that should have been on here, but they couldn't have been on here for legal reasons. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Miss Clobbering Time. But there are the matches that they've chosen, they're good. They're great matches, you know. And it's always nice to hear the superstar, the wrestler, you know what I'm saying, give their take and their experiences and their thoughts on what transpired during the match and how it worked out, you know. Another game mode that is the best game mode by far on the game is MyRise. If you would have told me that in 2022, I would be putting over a created character story mode, I would tell you that you're full of crap. But that's not the case. MyRise is amazing. MyRise is the mode where you create a character and you take them on their own journey. And there's so many branching storylines, so many different ways you can go. There are moments where they try to force you in the game to do things. Currently, I think my guy is still being harassed to turn face because I'm a heel. I'm a bad guy. Let's be real about that. And they're like, hey, you know, you get along a lot easier if you do this and you do that, et cetera, right? But you can turn the stuff down. You can, from the beginning, if you go heel, you know what I'm saying, you can fight Shawn Michaels in your first match. You know, like that kind of stuff's amazing. And then just watching your character progress and as they go further and further and further, it's insane, you know. It doesn't feel stale, it's not stagnant, and that's refreshing. MyGM mode is exactly what it sounds like. It's a GM mode, or a bare bones version of it, you know. 2K didn't do the last GM mode that you guys all remember and know and love from SmackDown vs. Raw 06. They're doing a fresh take on it. You start out and you have to draft at least 8 people, you know. You 8 people you manage, et cetera, et cetera. There are goals for you to meet every week to satisfy the conditions for Triple H and what he wants. You can either be the GM of Raw, SmackDown, NXT, or NXT UK. And you can use one of the 4 people with their attributes, or you can create a character, like you can clone Paul Heyman and have Paul Heyman run it, or if you want to put yourself in there, and you can do that as well, you know. But there's only 3 matches, and you only get tags or one-on-ones, but it is what it is. Again, it's a bare bones thing. The missed opportunity is doing this online with a friend. You can do couch co-op. If you're playing it on Steam, you can do remote play and do it via that way. But to not have an online option for MyGM is kind of a missed opportunity. Hopefully in 2K23, because there's going to be a 2K23. Hopefully in 2K23, they fix that, you know. MyFaction is WWE Supercard. Literally, I love Supercard, so it's great. But MyFaction is a version of that, you know, or Ultimate Team, you know, where you get cards based on objectives that you play and you reach. It's not my favorite mode in the world. I'll just be real with you, which is funny to hear because I love Supercard. But there's a cheese that you can do, and you can pretty much do everything with this cheese in like 2 hours. There's videos on it. If you want to know how to cheese it, YouTube it. I'm not gonna tell you how to do that here. That's pretty wrong. And then last but not least, the created characters, the created everything, the created entrance, create a belt, create a Money in the Bank briefcase, create a superstar. There is so many levels in the creative suite this year. It's crazy. And the fact that community creations are now open to all platforms makes it even more insane. You can see the detail that people do on PC, and you can download it to your PS5, or you can download it to your Xbox. Or if you want to download a call that I made, let's say I have Mike Masters made, you want to download a Mike Masters, you can do that and play it on your choice of platform. The sky's the limit with this, and it's great. Speaking of creative, though, the drawback to this is where they had to cut corners. There's no real creative entrance. You can choose an entrance, you can edit the banners, you can edit the templates and whatever else, but there's no advanced creation, so you can't go scene by scene by scene. And we've been used to this for years. It's crazy that they can't get that to work on this game because they said it would crash the game, but we've been doing this kind of stuff since like Day of Reckoning, you know? And speaking of crashes, I myself have experienced a bunch of crashes playing MyRise. The game crashes a lot during MyRise. Granted, when you boot it back up and you load into MyRise, it puts you exactly where you're supposed to be at. But there are so many crashes and things of that nature, it's ridiculous. The last point that I want to touch on is online. When online works, it's good. I did a stream on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/MichaelValtrades, and we literally tested out an 8-man match. And for the most part, it worked fine. It was a little choppy, it's a little laggy, but that's to be expected with 8 people. But it still functioned, right? So doing that and playing that, it was cool. As we got into smaller matches, whatever else, it worked. Like I said, when it worked, okay, it seems to be the sweet spot is like Fatal 4-Ways and anything under that. But we did 6-man tag matches, tornado tags. We did 8-man battle royales, you know, and it works when it wants to. Online, there are no entrances, so that's something to be mindful of. You can allow created characters to be online. So unlike 2K20, yes, we can play with created characters online, and you can have a custom rule set online. The only problem with that is you need to edit that. You need to edit it and save it as a preset. As somebody who runs a WWE 2K league, this is kind of a headache because you have to have tons of presets to get the matches. And not only do you have to have them, but every participant in your league needs to have them. So it's either you make custom matches with these presets, or you just go stock out the match. You know. But overall, the game is amazing. It looks great. It feels great. You know that tagline they say WWE 2K22, it hits different? It's not just a gimmick. It legitimately feels different. There's a reason why this game is right now currently ranked in the top 3 wrestling games of all time. I'm not joking. Google it. Or look right here. But with the new gameplay, the more the fluidity, the controls, and everything else, you know, I give this game a hard recommend. You know, the game is a solid 8.5 out of 10. But let me know what you guys think. Have you touched the game? Have you picked it up? Did you buy the NWO edition like I did? Rest in power, Scott Hall, by the way. Let me know in the comments below. I'm Mike Wall Trades. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, make sure you do. Like the video on the way out. And thanks for watching. Later.